Plant life. Hello, students. Welcome to our journey into the amazing world of plants. Let's get started. Reproduction in plants. Living things have a finite lifespan and continue life through reproduction. Plants, like animals, reproduce by creating new plants in a process called reproduction. There are two types of ways by which plants reproduce. 1. Asexual reproduction. 2. Sexual reproduction. Let's discuss these properly. Asexual reproduction means making new plants or animals from just one parent. The new ones look exactly like the parent because they inherit all their traits. Vegetative propagation. The kind of reproduction in which a new plant grows from the body parts of a plant such as the stem, roots and leaves is called vegetative propagation. Let's see how different parts of plants reproduce via vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation by roots. Plants like sweet potatoes, carrots, and radishes can grow new plants from their roots. Bulb plants like gladioli and lilies produce new plants from underground bulbs, which are shaped like bulbs. Vegetative propagation by stem. Plants like rose, hibiscus, money plants, and sugarcane can be propagated by stem cutting. Potatoes, onions and ginger are examples of underground stems that sprout new plants from buds when planted. Layering. Some plants can also be grown by layering. In this method, the side branches are bent towards the ground and covered with moist soil, keeping the tip free. After a few days, new roots develop. Jasmine plant and lemon plant reproduce by the process of layering. Growing of grass. We know that grass plants creep along the ground like a green carpet. Side branches grow out of creeping stems. They separate and grow into new plants. These are called runners. Vegetative propagation by leaves. Leaves of certain plants produce buds along their margins. New plants grow from these buds if the leaves are placed in moist soil. For example, bryophyllum leaves. Vegetative propagation by spores. Plants like mushrooms, ferns, and mosses reproduce using spores, which are powdery substances found on the underside of fern plants. In sexual reproduction, male and female plants are required to produce new plants. Flowers are reproductive organs that turn into fruits with seeds for new plant growth. Parts of a flower. A flower has the following four parts: calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. Each of these parts is arranged in a whorl on the base of the flower. Let's see each of these properly. Calyx. It is the outermost whorl consisting of units called sepals. Sepals are green leaf-like structures at the base of a flower and enclose the rest of the flower in the bud stage. Corolla. Corolla is the next whorl towards the apex. Corolla is composed of units called petals. The petals are soft, brightly colored, and the most beautiful parts of the flower. They attract insects, which help in pollination. Androecium. It is the male reproductive whorl consisting of units called stamens. The stamen is made up of filaments that have a swollen head at the top called the anther. The anther contains a yellow powder-like substance called the pollen grains. Gynoecium. The gynoecium is the innermost flower whorl, consisting of carpels. The carpel is the female flower part with a style tube, ovary, ovules, and stigma. Pollination. Pollination occurs when pollen moves from a flower's anther to its stigma. Birds and insects are attracted to colorful flowers, feeding on nectar and transferring pollen. Pollen grains fertilize the ovary, leading to fruit growth and seed development. Growing of plants from seeds. Most plants grow from seeds. Seeds are obtained from flowers and fruits. A plant produces many seeds, but all of them do not get a chance to grow into new plants. Now, Let's look at seed and its parts. A seed is a tiny life-supporting package that can give rise to a tree. It contains the embryo or a baby plant and stored food. A seed has mainly three parts: the seed coat, seed leaves, and embryo. Seed coat. It is the outer covering that protects the baby plant inside the seed. It has a tiny hole through which the seed gets water. Seed leaves. When peeling away the seed coat, two seed leaves or cotyledons are visible, containing stored food for the growing seedling. Dicotyledon seeds like gram, pea, and beans have two cotyledons, while monocotyledon seeds such as maize, wheat, and rice have one cotyledon. Dispersal of seeds. Plants produce many seeds, but if they all grew near the mother plant, not all would survive due to a lack of resources. Nature disperses seeds to overcome this issue. Seed dispersal occurs through agents like wind, water, animals, and the explosion of dry fruits. Let's discuss some of the ways by which seeds are dispersed. Dispersion by wind. Some seeds are very light and small and usually get dispersed by wind. Seeds of some plants like cotton, madar, hiptage, and drumstick are small, light, and have wings or hair. Therefore, these seeds are easily carried to distant places by wind. Dispersal by water. Plants along water bodies disperse seeds through water flow. Coconut trees, with their hollow insides and rough outer fibers, float on water, allowing seeds to travel far and grow into new plants. The lotus fruit is also dispersed by water. Dispersal by animals. Humans and animals eat fruits and throw the seeds away, which grow into new plants. Some seeds, which have hooks or spikes, stick the hairy skin of animals or the clothing of human beings and are carried away to different places. Dispersal by explosion of fruits. Some vegetables, like peas and balsam, burst open or explode when they are ripe. The seeds pop out and get scattered away from the mother plant. Now, let's discuss the other aspects of this chapter: crops. Crops are plants grown in large areas for food and other purposes through agriculture. They include food crops, wheat, rice, oil-producing crops, sunflower, and fiber crops, cotton. In India, winter crops like wheat and gram are rabi crops, while summer crops like rice and maize are kharif crops dependent on monsoon rains. There are few essential requirements for growing good crops. Farmers should have knowledge about the soil, climate, and season for growing different crops. A high-yielding variety of seeds should be used. Farmers should properly irrigate the soil when required. The right amount of fertilizers should be added to the soil. Two kinds of fertilizers are used for this purpose: organic and inorganic fertilizers. Organic fertilizers are obtained from decaying plants, cow dung, etc., while inorganic fertilizers are synthesized. For example, urea and nitrates. Farmers should use insecticides and pesticides to protect their crops from insects. Crop protection and storage. For better and healthy crops, we must protect them. We should protect the crops in the field against grazing animals like goats, cows, and buffaloes by proper fencing. We should protect the crops against pests such as locusts, grasshoppers, caterpillars, and diseases. Ripened crops should be harvested and stored properly as grains. Farmers should keep them safe from moisture and small animals. So, grains should be stored in airtight containers. We hope that you have understood the topic. You can now study chapter notes, watch video lectures, and solve MCQ tests of this chapter on Eduref to ensure you score well in your school exams. And that's not all. You also get amazing courses for maths, science, English, Hindi, and much more for class 5th. Thank you.